Hello everybody, how are you all doing out there? Welcome to Stove Tuesday. For those of you who are thinking, is that it? Stick with it, I've got a plan. If you stumbled across this video and you're thinking, what the heck's going on? This is Stove Tuesday everybody, and it's lovely to have your company. Basically what I do, I try and put a video out every Tuesday about stoves. Why Tuesdays? Well, nothing happens on Tuesday, does it? Tuesday's a boring day, so I just try and do something to liven up everybody's day. Maybe give you something to look forward to if you're like me and you're addicted to stoves. For those of you who've seen these videos before, welcome back. Okay, let's get down to it. Pathfinder Alcohol Stove. Some people like these, a lot of people don't like these. Let's briefly go over what it's all about. It comes in 4 pieces, simmering, and to be fair to it, it's a good simmering. Wing garden pot stand. Yep, it's a pot stand. It's very narrow. If you've got a small pot, it's all very good. However, if you've got something a bit bigger, say this was a frying pan, and you're putting stuff in there, or you've got a tall object like a billy can, and it's not seated properly, basically, it's all gonna fall to bits. So understand the limitations of this. It's got a lid, and it's got the main unit, which is similar style to like a transier. Can't tip it out much more, got some fuel in there. It's looks like some kind of glue can or paint can with a transier style burner thing on the top. Do you need something this big? Is the first question. Most people probably don't need stuff like this. You know, you can get away with a much smaller alcohol stove. So if you want to use this for every day, it's probably not worth getting, you know. Let me know what you think in the comments, by the way. Is this worth having as your only stove if you don't own one? In my opinion, absolutely not. So what's the point in having one of these? If you want to do a lot of cooking, like for a long time, look at the size of that. It'll burn for ages and ages. Don't ask me how long it burns for, because I've never got to the bottom of it when I've been cooking something. It's just ridiculous. I'm not going to fill it up and just burn. It's pointless. So there you have it. That's basically the Pathfinder Alcohol Stove. There's nothing more to say about it really. Oh, it's made in China and it's made of stainless steel. Mine's been used quite a bit, as you can see. Oh, I nearly forgot. People complain about the simmering on this. If you've seen any reviews or videos where they go, oh, the simmering doesn't work. The simmering does actually work. However, it's limited. What you need to do before you put the unit on is work out where that simmering can live within that hole, that little gap there. So when you're using it and you want to simmer, you just pop the little man in just like that, and that will give you a simmer with the pot stand stroke windshield type thing on the top. The ideal thing would be if they kind of lost this row of holes down here, made that a little bit wider perhaps, so you could adjust the simmer a bit more. So if you want to simmer just about there, that's all well and good. if you want this little man open a bit further, well, just forget it with that. It's never going to work. Just thought I'd let you know that. Right, let's crack on. Today we're going to make some cake. Everybody likes a bit of cake. Alright, how's you going to make cake in that? I'm not going to try and make a cake on top, because all it's going to do is burn. How many videos have you seen where people have got these, like any kind of burner, whether it be gas or alcohol, and they just leave it, and that flame comes up in one spot. And they put their pot or whatever on there, and then when they go to turn it out, they go, "Oh, my cooking's burnt." Of course it's burnt. You've got a tiny place there for the heat to come up, and you've probably not had it on simmer. So what we're going to do today, we're going to use a 14cm billy can. We're going to put it on top of the stove. In this billy can is going to be water, and that water is going to be filled up somewhere wherever I get around to it, and I'm going to make the cake, and I'm going to put it in this bowl. And what we're going to have is like a steamed sponge with jam underneath, and the lid's going to go on top of that, and that, believe it or not, fits absolutely perfectly. It's like all made for each other, isn't it? So this is a bit of an experiment. If I can do this at home, there's no reason why you can't do it as well, if you've got a mind to. To make sure that this is perfectly level underneath, because having the billy can on top is going to be quite high, and it's going to possibly make it a bit unstable. What I'm going to do, I've got this trivet, I'm going to put that on there. These trivets are great, by the way. Stainless steel, unfortunately made in China. But if you've got some slightly uneven ground, or you've got soft mud, if you put that in the ground first, that will then kind of sink in. It'll also stop you from burning the ground as well. So they're actually a really good item. Then I'm going to put the billy can on top of that. I'm just going to let that steam away, stick on the simmering if I need to calm it down a bit, and when it's nearly cooked, what I'm going to do then is, imagine that's in top of the billy can, the lid's on top. What I'm going to do then is warm me custard through in this 900ml Avenue titanium pot. By the way, just on the subject of pots, let me zoom you in. Now you may be able to see just, let's get some focus there. You may be able to see just around there, you've got a bit of greyness. Well, the reason for that was this was the non-stick version from my super lightweight days, and it's like a grey type spray that's on the inside, and it was all this blah about it's non-stick and all the rest of it, and it was just like someone had painted some, or sprayed some grey type paint on the inside. I'll just tell you from my experience, don't bother. By all means, get the titanium if you want to go light. Don't get the non-stick stuff. It's complete and utter garbage, and it's a waste of money. So hopefully that's a top tip for saving a few quid. If you was in the market to buy some lightweight Avenue pans, by the way, fantastic pans. Just remember that the heat travels through the titanium really quickly. So any titanium, you're more likely to burn your food. We got some water. I filled him up just over halfway. By the way, if you're in the market for some pot clips, I put a video out for that a while ago, and it's still quite relevant. So just look up how to make zebra pot clips, a simple guide, and you'll find my video out there, and it's actually quite good. It's done in a slightly different way to how people would usually make them, and they're easy to do, believe it or not. Right, that's on there. By the way, you can see that if you don't have perfectly level ground, you're going to be in a lot of trouble with that. I've made a temporary windbreak around the outside. I wouldn't usually use these, they're a bit heavy for backpacking or going out camping. I thought it would work out well today. You can kind of see what's going on then. Let's get it out on a tabletop. Nice! I've always wanted to say that. Do you see that Steve 1989? He does MREs. He's brilliant, he is. Right, what have we got? Now, I don't do anything with gluten in it like wheat flour. So everything you see me cook is going to be a bit weird looking, but it works. Trust me on that. I've got buckwheat flour with some baking powder. I've got some muscovado sugar. I tried to get golden granulated down Morrison's, but they didn't have any today. It's the only one they didn't have any of. Some fine cornmeal. Told you it was weird. I got some jam to go in the bottom. And in here I've got the milk, 1 egg. The recipe, I've halved it. It should only be half an egg. I couldn't be bothered to do something with the other half an egg. A little bit of salt, milk, did I say milk? And that's pretty much about, oh yeah, and also oil. There's no butter in this at all. What I want to kind of do is replicate as far as possible here in the kitchen what you would do if you was out and about. So I'm only going to use faithful old faithful old long handled spork. That's far more professional, wasn't it? We go with the jam first. Absolute beauty. I saw some orange and ginger stuff, but I thought that was a bit weird. How much jam do we need? That's a proper amount of jam, isn't it? Right, so he's good to go. As I said, I was going to try and do this as much as possible out in the real world situation type stuff. This is the bowl out of the billy can. Whip this up. There we go. Let's chuck him in there. This is non-fussy. I like non-fussy cooking. I'm beginning to see an issue here. I'm not sure I'm going to get it all in. Oh, for goodness sake. Hang on. I got my BCB cut there. Let's chuck it in that. That's far more sensible, isn't it? Let's pretend you're out and about and you've got like a 750mm mug cut thing. That makes far more sense. And then we chuck in our corn flour. That's it. That's all you got to do. If it's a bit dry, add a bit more milk or water. Why didn't I think of this before to use the mug? That's it. That's all you need to do. Lovely job, look at that. All done. Right, the only thing I'm going to do to that, so don't really want it to stick, is just put a bit of oil around there. Is this the right thing to do? I got no idea. Let me know in the comments if you think it's a good idea to oil that before we start. By the way, if you're enjoying my video, don't forget, Give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down if you don't like it. If you think it's garbage, I don't mind. It's fine. Disadvantages of a sport over a spoon. Oh, I got a bit left. Come on. Let's just pretend I got all that out tidy. Oh, if you're into stove videos, don't forget subscribe for Stove Tuesday. I do try and put out 2 videos a week. One is obviously stoves on Tuesday, and the other one is a random kind of video, whatever I can come up with. Oh, that tastes really nice. There you are. So you've got your gluten-free steamed sponge. Whoa, let's back up a bit. I'm getting ahead of myself. I've got the custard. Got this pre-made custard. Alpro, whatever it is anyway. It's like a soya custard. I find this stuff too sweet and too thick. Oh Christ, all over the shop. So what I do, I water it down with some milk or water. You can see from that it's still quite thick. For me, it gives me a far better kind of texture. Right, you're probably getting bored with this bit, so I'm moving on. In the time it's taken us to make our cake, we've got as far as this, so that's good enough for me. Let's put a little mat on there. Lid on. What's the time? It's now, what's that, 10:18? We'll come back in 10 minutes and see how we're getting on. Plenty of action going on now. We're starting to rise a little bit. We give them another 10 minutes. And let's see how we get on. I added the simmering, but the blooming thing went out. Having it closed up that much, the slightest bit of wind just blows it out. So the flame was snuffed out and I was screwed at that point. So rather than muck about with it, I had a change of plan. 11:15. Yep, you're right, it's a honey stove. It's not this blooming wanky little effort here. I got rid of that because I had this on full throttle without the simmering and it was kicking out too much. Yeah, so it was kicking out too much in the way of heat and it was burning through fuel like an absolute madman. So what I did, I got the honey stove out and I put the simmering wide open, and that's enough to take it down. I've also got my custard on top. That's still freezing cold. So that was a damn idea. Let's test this little man out. Oh. Do you know what? I think that's just about cooked. We're going with that. Let's put him off to one side while we heat the custard. So what have we learned today? We've learned that this Pathfinder stove, if you've just tuned in, I know it's a honey stove, it's the thing in the middle. The Pathfinder stove will burn for at least an hour because he's still got fuel in it. We've also learned that you can steam a sponge cake on a billy can And the bonus is there's enough water in there that's still hot to do the washing up. We've also learnt that the simmering on this Pathfinder stove is basically useless using it like that. You really need to be able to open it a bit more. I'm kind of hoping my sponge hasn't cooled down too much. Oh, it's okay. Let's have him out. Gosh, this is like moment of truth time, isn't it? For any of you just tuning in, you're kind of gonna watch if the silly man on the TV is actually gonna achieve this or not. See what happens. Come on. Oh. What an absolutely momentous moment. If you've stayed with this through the video, I bet you're glad you did. Oh, look at that, that's epic. What's he look like inside? Let's get me knife out and cut a small slice. There we go. How's that? Oh, dropping it everywhere. So what's it taste like? Well, it's full of sugar, full of goodness, and full of custard. Oh, it's an absolute triumph. Amazing, that will easily do 4 people. Hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget, give it one of them, subscribe or whatever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.